Hello and welcome. It is the 18th of February 2019. My name is Derek. All bets, trades of the like. Well, that's within each his own risk and their own reward. For today, we'll talk about Komodo, NLC2, and a couple other ones talked in the comments section or referenced, one being Loom and another being Arc. That will be talked about within this particular video. Before we get into this, let's just bring up the chalkboard and talk about some superior, hard-working, intellectual trading. Because that's what I try to do. It's the shits, man. Superior, hard-working, intellectual trading, making sure that you can be at the top of your game. And I myself am only trying to get better, as I think one of the biggest mistakes people made back in 2018, 17, and really 18 for that matter, the start of the year, because that's when the big rally happened, was, and myself totally included, but definitely a lot of people in bad shape, not profit taking. When Bitcoin was higher, profit taking, and I talk about, my icon, you'll see a Canadian maple leaf coin. Although it's not my favorite silver coin, silver is my favorite asset class for investing. Let's put it that way. So turning in these higher prices into other assets like silver, using it in real money any way that you can. Well, to me, I wish I would have done more, but I'm glad I did what I was able to do, especially when I can do some weightlifting with my 1 kilos, and I got several of them, silver pieces. Anyway, so throwing that part aside, let's go over Komodo. And I want to start off by referencing a date. And it's going to be in July. So let's put this to the daily time frame. And go back to the middle of July in that of 2018. And that would have been back when the price was 20,000. Right down in here, July 20th, 20,000. At that stage, that's when I decided to trade this on Binance. Now, an unfortunate event occurred on Binance. I'll talk more about that when I talk about Loom. But it's been sideways, up and down, choppy action, and right now it's in at the 25,316 handle. So I bought 23 of those coins at the 20,020 price level on Binance. Since that point up to now, I have bought 2,480, a little more than that, on Binance, costing 0.4739 Bitcoin. On Bittrex, I bought a little more, 2,773.56, costing a little over half a Bitcoin. I have sold close to 4,000 on Binance, a lot more than I bought. 0.7676 Bitcoin I've received for such. And I've also sold 1,281.71, receiving almost 0.29. And all Bitcoin fees are already calculated within, and the Binance fees I've had to spend 0.5946 BNB to trade Komodo. Alright then. And I haven't really traded like the shits too much on this because I could have gotten a lot more arbitrage situations. I could have done a lot better than this. So how superior was it? Well, it could have been more, which is what I like about it because I'm always striving to do better, which is the whole purpose of it. Anyway, the average buy 19,168 Satoshi, 20,135 on the sale. Which means it's relatively simple math of barely making 0.05 Bitcoin. And when you look at the buys and sells, I was like, wow, that's pretty much around even. 52.55, we'll say, 52.52. So I've basically gained about almost 3 of these things, a little over 2.5, which isn't much. But the gains in place. Now, how many do I own? I own almost 440 of them right now, collectively amongst the two. which is worth 0.11 Bitcoin. So I look at it as in I've already, just with what I got, the price has went up. I really have just hodled it in the sense of I got the exact same amount of coins pretty much that I did before. Obviously with the price point at like 25,000, I'm up 20%. Yes, 20% on the play since then, and I've gotten about half of it back. So you know what, not too bad. But as far as doing statistical analysis stuff like this, I enjoy doing things like this because I take my data from first Bittrex. If you really are interested in this and you really would like some tutorials for stuff like this, how to sort it, it's not the greatest of files you receive from Bittrex, and even how to get their data downloaded really easily. It's simple. And then what I do here is I sort this by buys and sells. I took the sum of this in here, which is the cost, the sum of the buys. I did the sum of this, which is what I received. I subtracted it by the sum of this, which was the fees. And then this was the results I got on Bittrex. Binance gives you files that look something like this. But I did the exact same thing. I sorted it by buys and sells. So I came up the numbers with this way, and then I did a sum of all my Binance fees to come up with, well, this number here. So if you have any questions regarding situations like that, this is more of accounting kind of stuff, and that's what I went to school for. It was easy. I like to say it really didn't become fun as I entered into my decently into the 20s. I just did not like accounting, but as far as putting numbers together, pretty easy for me to do anyway. All right, so Komodo looking good, and the way I look at it is this: when markets get really high, these get very overextended for large gains. That's when I take my Binance portion and I will sell them nicely. Now within Bittrex, I talk about different types of strategies. One where it's I call the base strategy, everything's worth the same. So on Bittrex, that's how I'm trading Komodo, and on Binance, I'm trading it for that, like, okay, if I buy or if I sell something right now in what I would call an accumulation stage, which it is right now. And I'm going to put this back to the weekly. An accumulation stage, what I do is everything that I sell, I buy exactly that back. Meaning, if I sell for, say, 0.07 Bitcoin, I want to buy 0.007 Bitcoin back. So I'll sell maybe 25 or 28, and I'll buy back 32, 34, depending on, of course, the percentage decrease in which that I play for. When price action moves up to this upper end, it'll become neutrality situation. And neutrality is, and that would be really breaking above 60, I would think. So all my sell orders north of 60 would be in that of I want to buy back what I sold. In that if I sold 20 Komodo, I want to buy back 20 Komodo and profit the remainder of the Bitcoin. And then on a breakout above, if it gets to some superior levels that it's never seen before and gets above the 001 number, then I'm going to be in distribution mode, which means I'm going to be looking to sell maybe all of it or mostly all of it. And then just look for better days because I know these go way up and way down. But for now, it's accumulation mode and it will remain such until it can test. And again, we'll get over 60,000 on the Satoshi level. Now, of course, because I'm using both sites, the reason, looking back, that I have such a lot of sells on Binance and such a... It was because the different ratios are so much different is because usually when there's an arbitrage, for me, it has been buying on Bittrex, selling on Binance. So we look at these three highs on Bittrex going back to February 16th or 2 days ago. This high came in at 314, we'll say. Then we have 287 and 312. 314, 287, 312. And here, this one was nowhere near the 314 and all that. And that was just phenomenal. I missed out on a lot of those arbitrages. And for a lot of it, I'm going to miss out on it because what's the best tool I can use to see when these situations come into place? I'm really I'm not even that good of a computer programmer, but I can do math calculations really good, and that's not really what I'm looking to do, as other than finding places to access data. Because ideally for me, what I need to do, and if anyone knows where I can get something like this done, is I want to know whenever the differential of price action, last trade of Komodo on Binance and Bittrex, has a 1.05 or not 0.95 differential depending on how you're looking at it. I want a text message maybe. Tell me a text message. And if I'm sleeping, make it like 1.07, 1.08 to make it worth my time. Or something like that. That's what I would like to have because a lot of these ones I just miss out on. And if I do, I mean, you only get the whatever part of it. I did make it for this one on top in here because, well, this happened at 8 in the morning. When did this happen? This happened 8 at night. That's where I could have done it. This happened at 1 in the afternoon. These were times I'm available as long as there's nothing going on for me that day. But even if it is, I mean, I'm just not going to be looking at this price as like 24/7. I really can't. So that's why, like, just ideas like that could really help, I think. But anyway, I got a lot more to talk about. We're already at the 11-minute mark. And amongst the hourly chart here, NLC, we got just this period here. We went to 355 and down to 311. I had some orders automatically trade here. And the price on the daily chart represents a lot of beautiful up and down choppy action. Now, this is getting really eekish. I don't know. Maybe it's going to come down. Maybe we still got the upper trend line. We're holding where I want to and all that stuff. And heck, if it's going to have big, wild up and down swings, that's great for my buy and sell orders. So as far as where I hold NLC2, I have a small amount on Coin Exchange. That's where I also trade XBY. You can trade this on Bittrex, which is where I hold some more. I play fantasy support, so there's a fantasy site for NLC2. I got some there. There's a poker site where I got some there. And I'm even learning a lot about these different types of staking hardware wallets that I have. So I'm figuring it out. So I'm going to show you how it looks. As I received, not many, but I received some. I received 8 coins at about 6.5 earlier today from staking at 9.23 and 10.26. Apparently you get 4% a year. I'm just trying to figure this out. But some things of worth noting in here, if I go to my transactions, what I did was on February the 7th, I deposited 85 just to see how this was going to work. And it worked fine. So within a few minutes later, I put in another, looks like $47.99 or $4,800. And then I was waiting and waiting. Not much was going on. And, well, I needed these coins for a trade. So I had no choice but to move them off of here. And I did such. And then this was on February the 11th. Later that night, I was able to move them back in. So I moved like 12,000, 10,000, 10,000, 2,600, 7,500, 3,100, and 222 just to fool around before getting these stakes. Now, what happened was when I originally sent the 300, I was just testing around just to see how this would work on the first send. What happens is your staking completely gets deleted. So wherever you were at the point for progressing, you would lose all that. I'll explain that in just a little bit. So I ended up just removing practically everything. I knew I was going to put it back in, which it did. See, therefore, the staking weight here, which got over, right now it's about 99,000. It got over 200,000 before. It says on here, I can't see it. Actually, I can move it so you can. Your network height, expected time, so it's 2 days that they say it's going to come in. It's really not much at all. And I'm not looking to do this for the purpose of staking at all, especially when it's just this low amount. Because when I'm on the market selling 400 of these coins, which isn't much, at a whatever price, and then I'm buying it back for like a 8% volatile move, 7%. I'm getting like 30 coins because I'm going to sell 400, buy 430ish. So it's not like this is what I want to do to gain coins, but just as a practice to hold coins in a level where my XBYs, when I get them retrieved back, I'm going to want to do that. This is a coin that I haven't talked about in a while, ticker symbol ARK. And these lines that I put in, it's been a long time. I put the line in at 26,479 Satoshi. Its actual high on this event was 26,610. Marginally piercing above, but I don't even count that as a pierce above. That's an exact hit in my book. Volatility, extreme. I mean, 26,000 back down to 13. It sucks that I wasn't able to get involved within this, so be it, because a lot of the things that I took out, this cloak and THC, so many other things, a couple of them didn't do so good, and a lot of the things I put it into, stuff like NLC2, Litecoin, and other things, have been increasing as well. But yeah, having this move again, just phenomenal. Now, overall, where do we stand within this? Because this thing is just getting back to its levels from its June highs. Or rather, it's June breakdown lows. It's July highs. It's support from last March. It's support from the 2017 lows. And what's been going on is now an attempt in reverting this trend, because it's been going sideways really since the August lows of last year. An attempt to break out, establishing resistance here. And a lot of times when resistance is established, it gets upgraded. Well, this is the opposite. This is where established resistance got downgraded from 14.1 to about, again, at 13,000 and down to 11.8. So it developed this range in resistance. Breaking down, it tested this level of August support back in September, had a slow chugging rally, and then it fell, breaking support. Oftentimes from a failed breakdown comes a fast move in the opposite direction. Well, this was not one of them, because it didn't have a fast move in the opposite direction. Not when it happened in November, but those lows held. It was even tested one more time. It matched those lows. Big volume started to come in around February the 7th in here. So there's your indication right there. Big volume comes in, and then volume remains consistently good, and then here we go. So there's a lot of reason to consider just maybe that this thing could have what is needed for it to break out. And in doing so, well, the next key level, 47,610 Satoshi. Let's look at Loom next. And this was actually by mistake. I want a Nano that I want to look at. So I'm still going to look at this as it plays out. It's having a lot of these nice but okay minimum size volatile moves back and forth, still within this downward move. I actually just got out of this. I'm like, the volatility is okay, not too sure where the next direction was going to go. I got out of a whole bunch of different coins. My basic strategy, or my general strategy moving forward, is to put a lot of these coins in hardware wallets for big trade levels, and just find a way of, and I should really look more towards my my hardware wallet of the Trezor, because I should update my firmware, which I've been delaying for quite some time, and just get access to more coins in there, and then just stick them in there when markets go up 70% and whatnot. Although I still would rather hold them on exchanges and just have the backup ones available. So checking out decentralized exchanges. I got a lot to work to do moving forward. But until then, I'm going to trade the coins that I am. Unfortunately for me, Loom, which is a coin that probably is a good thing to trade, is what I'm not trading. And Nano I'm not trading, and that's because of the rule that Binance put up where if you cancel all trades only for a particular pairing, it cancels every single trade. When you're on the basic exchange site for this, where you buy and sell, you'll see your orders below. And for me, if I were to buy this right now, this is what I would do, at least what I was doing in Binance before. I'd say buy at 23.43. I'd look down, okay, buy order at 22. Oh my goodness, I got to go a lower low. So what's a decent low below that? Maybe 2000, 2005. I'll put a buy order for 2005. If I got enough Bitcoin, I'll put a buy order in maybe for 300 Satoshi. 85% off, 75, 90% off. Most you can do is 90 off. And those two buy orders are filled. Then I'm going to want to put 3 or 4 sell orders in. Maybe put one in at around this previous high I'll look at. Do I want to sell at 25? That's a differential of under 200. Not really, no. Do I want to sell maybe in here? Okay, maybe I'll put one in for around this previous high, around 26.45. That's a differential of 300. Even that's not the greatest of percentages, but I'll still do it. And then I'll put another order in for maybe 36, 38. And then put another order in for maybe 6,000 and maybe another one in for 20,000. And I'm done. And then once the next order hits, whether it be a buy or a sell, I'm going to cancel all those orders with the exception of the deep buy order. So I might as well just cancel them all quickly, because on the site there's a cancel all button and I push it. But what happened is it got to the point where it used to work, but when you cancel all of the, say you see 5 orders on Nano and you push the cancel all, will not only cancel those 5 orders, but it cancels your other 300 or 400 orders you have. And I didn't enjoy that, because what would happen is I would wonder, why did all my orders get canceled, I would think. And so I'd have to put all my orders in, taking me an hour and a half or 2 to do. I was not impressed with that. So that's why I was forced into trading it. And I know I could just individually cancel each order, but that computer flaw is not something I found pretty cool. In fact, it was the opposite of that. Okay, so as far as this coin is concerned, as far as point A, high, low, and all this stuff, we had this low back in August. We had this lower high to this one. Since then, it has grinded its way lower. It has grinded its way lower enough where it's a significant higher low to this 13 handle. It's now a significant lower high to this 55 handle. It has also established some key levels of support. Originally, it did so here at 2670 within the September and the October lows. It has resisted it since on many occasions. Now we have had a lot of this support being tested at around 23 and a third, which is exactly where it is now. A little small pierce here, a little bit here, spending more time in this area. Still within the sideways movement, lower end of this range. When it's made the moves above the 18 like it did in January here, it obviously failed. It had a failed move. When I say failed move, fast move, this is about as basic as it gets. In fact, probably should have done a bit more. But breaking it above this, you knew it should at least break down below this level of 23. It did. So it was about the smallest move I would accept for that of a failed move, fast move. But it's now just correcting here within the 18, doing its whatever thing. Now within whatever coins, when you have situations like this where we've been in a big bear market for the last year and a month, 13 months of a bear market, and some coins are going up, some coins are going down, where before everything was going up in the spring of 2017, everything was going up in December of 2017 into January, and everything going down in the same harmony. So if we're having a new situation of, it's either going to go, well, if we haven't got everything going up in harmony yet. That's, I think, the best way of explaining it. So one way of looking at trading, or one strategy, is selling coins, at least in portions anyway, for coins that have went up, and maybe speculating on coins that are down or haven't went up yet. Because it's like, well, Litecoin has went up a bit. We've had Theta going up, and all these other ones that have had up moves. And then you got all these other coins that haven't then maybe it's their turn coming soon. But that really is the key word, maybe. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day.